going from there. All right, we are checking out Causality by Ivan. Thank you so much for submitting the game. How are you doing?
Um, okay, I think I should mute the stream.
Yeah, definitely. You got to make sure you mute the stream. So yeah, there's going to be a bit of a visual lag on what we're seeing, but
Yeah, hi. Uh,
hello.
nice to talk to you.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for coming on. So this is very fancy. So the music was by Kevin MacLeod, and then the night art was. I appreciate you making sure to put the credits down here. But so what was?
Yeah, I mean, I have to. It is a Creative Commons
Yes, yes.
license. That
Yeah, but people still forget to do it. So all right. So can you talk a little bit about your background in game development and like of on this jam, like what it was that you did?
uh, I am a graphics programmer
Hmm.
at a company, but I started to work in game dev professionally fairly recently, about half a year. Before that, I worked as a physicist. I studied magnetospheres for the planets, and here I did everything that is not like art and music, which were from assets and free stuff.
Hmm.
So I did code and programming and design, things like that.
Hmm. Nice. So the yeah, so I guess this is also like somewhat inspired by Slay the Spire.
Yeah, I am a big Slay the Spire nerd. I love it, so I wanted to make something similar.
Okay, so I should have realized that the enemy, like giving it a one, is actually a bad thing.
Yeah, in case of a ghost, you don't want to give the ghost a one.
Okay. For some reason, I thought that that one was something that I could utilize. So uh, now, so this is the sort of like the rules that this enemy is going to follow.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like its intentions.
got it, got it. Yeah, yeah. So I guess so. Slay the Spire was like the sort of main inspiration behind the game, then, or is there anything else that you're drawing
Uh,
from?
there is also Dicey Dungeons. I haven't played it, so I kind of came up with the idea that I want cards to use dice, and
Hmm.
but then I remembered, wait, there is this game called Dicey Dungeons, and I watched some videos about it, and I was kind of bummed out because I thought this was such a great idea, and then there's like this huge, polished, cool game that does that. But then I came up with this idea of a dice queue, so and it
Hmm.
was different, and so I made this. So I basically I stole a lot from cool games.
Well, that's okay. I mean, like I did the same thing, right? Like my game is also a Slay the Spire like.
Uh-huh. I think I played your game. Is this like the one with the penguin and the cards?
Yeah, yeah. It's the one that I was just working on the stream a moment ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I played it. It was nice.
So you basically have a opportunity. Oh wait, hang on. So there's a limited number of times you can perform the wait action. Is that what that means?
Yeah, you can do it 2 times per turn.
Got it. Okay. Um, and then we pause the turn, and then I get hit for yeah that much damage from the ghosts. Okay. So yeah, I think the only thing I didn't understand was that the explanation that we're seeing here was the enemy intent. I thought that that was just like something that related to me as well. Um, but I do understand now like why this is here, and it's related to the enemy. Um, so now that we're getting towards the end of the game jam, I imagine you've got a lot of feedback on the game. And then do you have any ideas for like how you want to change things or make updates to this going forward?
Well, the balance here is not great because I didn't have time for that. There are a couple of uh, OP cards
Mm-hmm.
and one card that is completely broken. Uh, there is also a bug in the gem version where it gives everyone the same encounters every time because I accidentally locked the seed. For that, I'll fix this, of course, but uh, I guess the main piece of feedback that came to me from people is that they want to see it continued, which is really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually don't with my jam games. I just do a jam game and I don't think about it ever.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it turned out surprisingly good, better than usual in terms of like being an actual game that is interesting to play and people noticed this, so maybe I really should continue it.
Yeah, I think it's like from my understanding of Dicey Dungeons, like I think because I also have not played it, but I think that you've got a really cool like fusion of uh like manipulating the RNG to intentionally waste dice that would be bad for you, but also bad if you let the enemies have them. And then, yeah, so I'm I'm very low on health, but let's see. If we have a pair, then we deal that much damage to all
It
enemies.
is actually the card that is completely broken. It is auto win essentially
I
because
yeah.
it should be a one-time use, but it is not. So you can eat an infinite amount of dice with it and just wait for a pair.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I see. I see. Well, in that
It should be
case,
like a one-time use, or it should have a cost. I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. In that case, yeah, because this is like basically a free win command or a free wait command, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Without
in
a limit.
infinite.
I see. I see. Okay. Well, in that case, it's especially because I took some extra damage early on. I'll go ahead and heal for that much HP instead of taking the bomb, and I'll try to play more honestly without it. So, um, yeah, like, do you have any ideas like in particular for like how you're going to continue the game or make changes or respond to feedback in
Ah,
general?
well, I have I need to do something with the with how I handle the cards and the synergy and the stuff because what gives Slay the Spire, in my opinion, it's longevity. It's it is an endless sink for time. I can play it for hours because it is so variable and you can build this crazy decks with different cards that synergize and you can find new synergies uh, and in Slay the Spire the key for me like aspect of that is its draw mechanic. Did you play Slay the Spire?
Yes.
Yeah, so draw is super important. You always build around it, and here you don't have that. You have all your cards right in front of you, so you have a limited amount of what you can do. So, so I can't like endlessly. Well, not endlessly, but I can add a lot of cards.
Hmm.
You have to have a small amount on your screen. So uh, I obviously can't do like the same draw mechanic because it would be too much. Like we will have then two like core things that the game is built around this dice queue, and then for some reason we also have draw like in Slay the Spire. It wouldn't be great. So, but I also have this. I want to have this ability to add synergies, add like a little bit more of
Hmm.
more cards to it. So it is like if I am to continue this game, it is something I have to solve in some way.
Yeah, I guess I'm running into a similar issue with my game as well, right? Like I'm trying to decide like do I allow the player to draw up to full each turn because that feels cool, but on the other hand, it breaks the entire balance of the game. Um like I yeah, I guess the main thing that you'd have to consider is what resources does the player have to spend in order to draw cards in the first place, or do they just always draw a full hand of cards? Um, it's definitely tricky when you already have the complexity of the dice, and um, like Slay the Spire works because it's all about cycling cards out of your hand
Yeah,
and
yeah,
um, setting up combos and stuff. But in both your case and my case, we have some other like extra mechanic going on.
hmm,
Um, so if you're it serves us both well to simplify the game in some way so that you aren't trying to manage a set of cards and the like dice initiative along the side of the screen.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you just don't want to overcomplicate things.
So what Dicey Dungeons does with that, the game has the inventory system. So you have your backpack where you have like a bunch of cards, and you have like your equipped cards, and it
Mm-hmm.
is really clever because you can have this diversity and take many cards, but you also have like in your game, in my game, all of them in front of you, like all of the equipped ones. So
Mm-hmm.
it is a really nice solution to this problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that like the just the whole UI of doing deck management in the first place is really tough to account for. Um, I think you do like one of the core appeals of Slay the Spire that does make it feel like a game that you can just keep on playing forever is that ability to like create builds towards certain combinations. I'm not sure if that's the direction that I want to take my game in. I might want to create a card battler where the challenges are kind of set and it's not like a random deck. It's more like something that you build out over time. So I don't know. Do you think it's worth thinking along similar lines, or do you want to try to build towards that like ability to manipulate your deck and um, sort of change the composition of it and well, I guess you already have that in this game so far, but you in a sense you're building out your hand, not your deck. And then I don't know if you'd ever
Yeah.
uh,
Uh, I want to have a deck. Like the
right.
hand is not enough because
Mm-hmm.
Slay the Spire is so cool because of the synergies, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a room for synergies in 5 cards. I mean you have, but it is somewhat limited. Or you like if you got like a really great synergy, if you always have it, it is not great. I mean, in case of my game, there is a dice queue, and whatever I design, whatever synergies I decide to put in the game, they will require you to set up some sort of dice sequence. So in this sense, you don't always have this synergy, but I'm not sure that it is enough.
Yeah. Oh, so Canon Lartiste is saying instead of changing out your cards, why not change out your die? But I'm not sure. Like the way that your game is structured, you've got um, like the enemies pull from the same pool of die. So I don't. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on how you think the your suggestion might work because um, I can imagine like changing out the die working if enemies had like a separate track of die that they were pulling from, but the whole point is that you're trying to like sabotage the die that they have access to. So yeah, again, maybe you can elaborate. Um, but
What
just Yeah.
I have a thought about that, like die manipulation. It won't work if like I change the dice like to something else
Hmm.
because the enemies work on this six-sided dice. But I think that I may want to play with like the visibility, like how many dice you see. Actually, there is a boss in the game
Hmm.
that does something cool. If you want to see it, you may press
Oh,
enter a bunch
right.
of times to just
Yeah.
go to it. And like maybe and also add some more uh, types of control cards. Like there is weight that just you can eat a die for free
Hmm.
a bunch of times, but maybe I can have cards that like change or re-roll dice, or maybe split them or merge them, things like that, like more die control mechanics.
Yeah. Um, the other thing you can do is you could have cards that allow you to take dice out of sequence.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. That's a really cool idea that you can like store a die and then use it for something else. I had it, but I had no time to implement this.
right, no, so like not only do I mean like storing a die for later use, but like you see a die later in the sequence, and it's like, oh well, I'm gonna like pluck that six
Ah,
from here, and like
oh.
I want to, or like there's a one lower down. I want to reduce an enemy's strength, so I want to pull that one out and put it at the top of the sequence.
Yeah, yeah. This is also cool. There is like a potential for different like sequence control cards
Yeah,
in this
absolutely.
game.
And that's why you want to get to having that deck because you want to have those cards cycling in and out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't have them all at once. It would be stupid.
Canon Lartiste elaborates as opposed to having different decks of cards, you could have a different bag of die with special effects, a sort of risk reward with dealing and taking damage. Um, that could work, but you'd have to like the enemies would have to react to those special die in the same way, right?
I think like a bag of dice is something like a relic idea, like an equivalent of relic in Slay the Spire. Like you have this relic that you can once per combat you can throw like a value of your choosing on top of the queue, something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe like three die at the bottom of the queue, things like that.
Yeah. All right. I did want to try to actually succeed on a couple encounters before I started skipping stuff. But I appreciate that you put in that sort of like automatic win into the game, though.
It is a necessity to test.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I just mean like I appreciate that you left it in the game.
Canon is also busted, but it is at least fair.
It at least
Like
costs some
it is
mana.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I see. Um, well, I think I'll sort of advance until I see an encounter I haven't done yet, just so we can show off some more. Okay, so here we got a stone skin adds 4/6 block. Oh, because it's
Ah,
pulling those ones. Yeah, I see. Sorry.
yeah. It should have been alternating between like block and attack, but currently it does is it's random, so it may just like uh, do nothing for a couple of turns because it just decides to block, or then like decides to destroy you by like attacking and attacking and attacking.
Yeah, I see. All right. Um,
Uh, 48 hours, what can you say?
yeah, I mean, yeah, not much you can do about that. Let's try to shield some damage here. All right. Can you talk a little bit about the actual development process for the game?
Well, I slept very little and worked really a lot.
Hmm.
I uh, Well, what I did right this time, as opposed to many gems before that, is that I really tried to have a playable version on day one.
Mhm.
I didn't completely succeed, but I really tried. Like I just powered through to this goal, and it really helped that I had something. Another interesting thing that I like in development process was like I had this idea of coming up with the basic kit of cards that works. So in this case, sword, shield, and weight, because yeah, like the idea of this game, I didn't know that I want to do these specific cards, so I spent like a couple of hours trying to get this very basic kit to add cards then to it. So it is enjoyable to play from the start.
Yeah, I think that's very important. And I had to do a similar thing where I came up with a list of 7 cards that I figured, like, okay, if I can get these 7 cards in the game, then it'll work. And then anything else above that is just a bonus.
What was interesting is that after I've done like these three basic cards, I then
Mhm.
struggled a little bit with adding anything else. But then
Mhm.
like I added two more cards, and then I had to stop myself from adding more and more and more because they started inventing themselves, because with the limited, very limited amount of mechanics that I had time to code in the game.
Mhm. Okay, so now you actually have to replace cards in your hand. You have this like hard limit of only 4 cards.
Yeah, I decided to have it like this for this because I didn't have time to code or uh, or even think about some like deck building mechanics. So
Mhm.
you build your hand like it. Oh,
Yeah.
you dropped the shield.
Yeah, I figured I
That's
wasn't using shield very much, and this also kind of performs the function of shield. So
yeah,
I don't know.
it does, it does.
Probably a bad idea, but we'll see. So this I can't have that. I am actually going to wait, and then use the deal like that. Um, okay, it was the cannon. Actually, I realized the cannon basically does the same thing as the sword, so could have
Yeah,
held on to that.
but better,
Yeah.
but better. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
It should cost two for balance. Absolutely should cost two. Like it then will be a nice card because it will be like worse than a sword if you don't get a pair because it just like two swords but less flexible. But if you get the pair, it is double damage. So
yeah.
it should cost one. It did initially, but I panicked that the game is absolutely impossible. So I just powered some things up uh, in in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean the Zweihander seems incredibly powerful. Like there's no doubt that the cannon is better than sword, and then the Zweihander, like its ability to both like deal damage that is double the die value and adds block. Like that's why I replaced block. I could have just replaced the sword, and so I could have like an easy cheap block. But
Uh,
um,
I'm actually very happy with Zweihander, and
mhm,
there is another card that's Warhammer that is a mirror of it that deals one dice of damage and one dice X2 block, because it is it costs two, but
mhm.
it does three dice of useful things. So
Yeah,
it is not, it is better than sword and block, but it is not like stupid OP like cannon.
yeah. I mean I think that there's like if I was paying a little more attention to like what enemy was going to end up with what die, I'd be doing a little better. But like even still, I think we're definitely seeing that complexity coming through. Okay, I'm gonna just pass on this encounter because I want to see more of the cards. How many cards did you get into the game in total?
Uh, 12 maybe, something like that, counting sword, shield, and weight.
Oh wow! So is this the actual boss of the game, the Overseer?
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Wow. Um. So he's gonna use up all of these dice to cast Veil,
yeah, yeah,
and I have the option of. Okay, so I may as well just like attack right now because I don't
yeah.
have.
No reason not to.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like the die that he's going to use up are actually like I don't know what Veil does yet. We're going to find out. Um, oh, it hides the upcoming dice. Interesting. So it's literally like
Yeah, so
hiding a part of the UI.
yeah, I think that maybe there is merit to trying to play with this sort of mechanics. Like maybe you don't from the get-go see like this many dice had, and you have many maybe cards or upgrades or something to increase that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I see we've also got the like oak shield that is like strictly better than the regular shield.
Yeah, yes. I absolutely like this is the idea. Cards are not equal. Some
Yeah,
are
yeah,
better than others.
they're upgrades to each other. I totally understand that, but I also think like you've got the interesting. You can't just keep using it. You have the like one turn, one limit on it.
Yeah, yeah. It is not that OP.
Mm-hmm. Also, I did realize that just because these little peeps, did nothing on the first turn, now they are attacking me for like a bunch of extra damage. So I probably should have focused on killing them first.
Yeah, the game is not like very well balanced, but I managed to beat it like fairly without like using like the bomb.
Yeah,
So it is possible if you have good RNG, but it is not really balanced right now.
no, that's
I didn't have time for that.
that's okay. I mean, I didn't even beat the game before I published it. I just figured like it's probably possible, even if it's really hard. Like people are probably only going to win maybe a third of the time, if on that one third chance they play perfectly. Like that's just the nature of the cards you end up with. So um,
I don't think I managed to beat your game. I tried a bunch of times and I couldn't.
that's the thing. Like it is very difficult at the best of times. Like you can get those bad rolls, and that's not like when I say it's like a one third chance. I mean like the actual statistical definition of a 1-3 chance. Like you can just get a bunch of bad rolls and not win 5 times in a row because of bad luck. But it like if you
Hmm.
average it out of all the people I've watched play the game, um, by the time you develop a like perfect understanding of the game, then you can hope to win 1 in 3 times, roughly.
Yeah,
So that's why
yeah.
I definitely need to rebalance it. Um, yeah, I know, Dr. Tronic. It's probably possible. It's probably not the best thing to be saying, but again, I did sort of justify it with the fact that it's like, no, I dealt at least that much damage to the Necromancer on one playtest, so I know that it's theoretically possible to deal that much damage. I just hadn't actually, in practice, beaten it. So,
I
um,
figured out that my game is possible only after the game ended. So
oh,
I,
okay. Well, I mean,
I
yeah,
it,
basically, I
it
did the same thing. Sorry, go
uh,
ahead.
no, I just laughed at the whole game jam balance situation.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, heads up from Heligar that the voting ends in 20 minutes. Well, I'll make sure to wrap this up and then just like take a 5 minute break and rate both of these off stream so that people can you get at least one more last second rating. I mean, at this point, do you even care? Like, do you? I know that I basically I don't want anyone else to rate my game because I know that in its current state, it's probably not rating very favorably. At least not in the like enjoyment category. I think the presentation's quite nice, but um, yeah, like how many ratings do you have on the game? Like as long as you get more than the, yeah, you got about the same as me, honestly.
40 something.
You've got 44.
I
I've got 48. That's more than enough. What do you think? Do you want me to rate your game? I will take the time to rate it if you want me to.
I why not? I mean, I have some hopes about this because I submitted it to a bunch of streams, and then
Mhm.
like I've seen people like rate it straight up all five, so I have some like a little bit of hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for my part, I did not. I haven't seen many people rate it on stream, so it's going to be much more of a surprise to me to find out like what I actually got score
I mean,
wise. But
I've seen like two people do it, so and there are 40 ratings, so it will be a surprise.
yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, I'll skip ahead to that enemy encounter and see if I can actually make it. Is that the end of the game? That like boss?
It just keeps throwing encounters after that, but
Okay,
it's not. It doesn't give you heal, so it is doomed
oh my
probably
god.
after that.
All right.
I, I wanted to implement like thanks to playing screen after that, but I ran out of time.
Oh hey, we got a moose man enemy. What's his deal?
He's a meme. He heals. So compared to the actually, the both like level two enemies that I call them, like the guys that consume to die, they are both kind of a meme because half of the time they don't do anything useful. The Muslim heals
Mhm.
like everyone, but it is not that impactful, and the other guy blocks half of the time. So somehow both guys ended up a bit of a joke.
Mhm. So the plate armor consumes one die, but does nothing with it, and then it just adds 5 block, and you can do it as many times as you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. So
Okay.
it is almost in every situation a better block than a shield, but
Yeah. Well, I ended up with one attacking card this time and no real blocks. I guess I should wait once, and then this is slightly better. Um, yeah. So, um, yeah. I guess. Do you have a useful shortcut or a clever hack in Unity that you would recommend to others?
uh I won't say like a hack, but my I don't know advice as a graphics programmer would be learn a little bit of shaders. You don't have to learn like a lot and be a
Hmm.
professional. There is a sort of a learning curve to it, like somewhat a steep one. But if you know just a little bit of it, you can massively simplify your life with many things. So it is not only for Unity, basically for any engine. For example, like here I have like enemy sprites flash white when I hit them, and I remember like a long time ago struggling with this thing for another game. Like, how do I do that? Do I flash like another sprite, or the same sprite, but white? Like, do I have to prepare it in like Photoshop beforehand? And it was a hassle. And now, like, I can spend exactly 5 minutes writing a shader and just do that. So it can be a massive improvement for you.
Yeah,
It,
absolutely.
and don't be afraid of the shaders. I know like they have a reputation for being this opaque thing that is difficult, and they're really not.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's like the shaders like especially with shader graph in Unity, right? Like actually writing shader code is a little bit daunting, but at the very least it's not like they're for the basic stuff as you're describing, like tinting a sprite white or maybe doing some like text mesh movement so that you can have like text effects and other stuff. Like there are a lot of basic shaders that even if you can't write a shader yourself from scratch, if you just go online and find a library of all these like basic effects and you at least understand how they work well enough to manipulate them, again, even if you can't write them from scratch, just knowing how to tweak the values a bit to get what you're looking for is super helpful.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that.
All right. Well, does anybody else, if anyone else has a question they would like to ask, then now would be the time to do it. But otherwise, where can people find you on social media? And do you have any of the projects that you'd like to plug?
I have a YouTube channel about video game math and physics and shaders, so I can plug it in like the chat
Absolutely.
if it is allowed.
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Always, always.
Uh, Give me a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Here it is. Uh, yeah, I don't post often because like I do these videos with very nice animations
Mm-hmm.
of like visualizations of math, and so like it is a lot of work. But
Mm.
occasionally I post something.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'll be sure to bookmark your channel. Ah, why not? Here, click the subscribe right now. And I,
Thank
because
you.
I genuinely, the subjects you have there, like I want to check those out. And especially, I think it would be valuable if you had some of these shaders, like the flash white shader that you're describing, that is like a um, a thing that I think a lot of people would find that useful in the context of game jams
I
and stuff.
I usually post the source code to all the jam games I
Hmm.
do, so I'll do it for this too.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And if you have any updates to this game that you make down the line, I'd be more than happy to take another look at it, or just any
Yeah.
other Gem project in general. So thanks so much for coming on the stream. And yeah, I guess
Thank you for having me.
absolutely.
It was nice to talk to a fellow card butler developer.
Absolutely. All right. Best of luck on the project. Bye for now.
Yeah, bye.